today's comments are the first from the expected Democratic nominee.
Harris at a pre-planned event honoring college athletes, wasting no time addressing the elephant in the room, and here's what she had to say.
I wanted to say a few words about our president. Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap. In one term, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who have served 2 terms in office. And I first came to know President Biden through his son, Beau. We worked together as attorneys general in our states, and back then, Beau would often tell me stories about his dad. He would talk about the kind of father and the kind of man that Joe Biden is. The qualities that Beau revered in his father are the same qualities that I have seen every day in our president. His honesty, his integrity, his commitment to his faith and his family, his big heart, and his love, deep love of our country. And I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
A lot of words there. Let's bring in Fox 5's Antwan Lewis. He's been monitoring the story all day long. Antwan, what is the very latest on this?
Well, we can tell you that right now, Vice President Harris isn't under a spotlight. She's under a microscope. And before she can convince Americans she's the right person for the Oval Office, she must first convince the members of her own party. In her first public appearance since President Joe Biden announced he will not seek a second term, Vice President Kamala Harris took a moment to thank the man she aims to succeed.
In one term, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who have served 2 terms in office.
But political analysts say getting one term of her own will not be easy.
She's got a lot of work to do, but I think that she's already doing that work.
James Sample is a professor of constitutional law at Hofstra University.
I think that in the last 24 hours, you have seen an extraordinary coalescing around her. It's not complete, it's not unanimous yet, but it's also, at this point, not something where anyone has stepped into the breach and said, I want to compete for that spot.
Biden has endorsed Harris as the nominee, and while the delegates pledged to him will likely support her at the Democratic National Convention next month, they don't necessarily have to, which could make for a contentious convention.
3 weeks, we could have 4 town halls in each geography in this country, invite the best and brightest Democrats. This could be the most extraordinary opportunity that we've had in generations.
Harris today also receiving an endorsement from Democratic heavyweight and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And should she secure her party's nomination, political analysts say Harris's pick for a running mate is crucial to any success at the polls.
Somebody who presents and enhances the contrast between the Trump-Vance ticket and the Harris-whoever ticket. You know, this campaign is going to be a former prosecutor, a former district attorney and attorney general against a felon. It's going to be a prosecutor against an adjudicated sexual assaulter.
Now, in addition to Speaker Pelosi, there is buzz on Capitol Hill that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries are also on the verge of endorsing the vice president. We'll, of course, keep you updated, but that's the very latest from now. Back over to you.
All right.